Hey, it's Russell Graves and welcome out here in the barn at Hackberry Farm. And in the video you're about to watch, we've taken one of our long form webinars and chopped it up to make it a little bit shorter and more palatable. So we hope you find some value in this one. In the meantime, stay with us all the way to the end. I got a special gift for you. Let's get started. I'm a really big fan. Well, let me back up and say this. I think in Lightroom, one of the least talked about functions of Lightroom is probably, in my mind, the most powerful. And the reason why I say it's the most powerful, I think it's because of how I work. Just recently, I surpassed 1 million images in my catalog. And I still, even though I've changed my business model and I don't shoot as much commercial work as I used to, and I still do a lot of magazine work. I don't do as much as I used to, but I still do a fair amount, and still, still involved in stock photography and all those other things that you do to kind of keep that part of the business going. It's always been real important to me to, if I wanted to find an image, I could find it. So I think one of the most important functions of Lightroom is its catalog ability and its database ability and its ability to, when you're looking for a particular picture, if you've got a good front end, if you've created a good organizational system in the front end, it gives you all kinds of tools to be able to filter out images and look for them. In essence, you're looking for a needle in a haystack, but with these filter options, you're making each subsequent haystack a little bit smaller. So in the end, any one of a million images, and I did it last night. I would think of an image I'd want to use in this presentation. Few clicks, maybe about a minute. At the very most, 2 minutes later, I could find that image just by some back end work I did. Got another webinar on that. You can find it. I think it's called Managing Your Digital Portfolio or something like that. But anyway, it's always good when they give you more ways to choose, and that's what they've added in Lightroom, is they've put some more filter options in the attributes tab. And then so in the library module, you can find it actually in a couple of places. You can find it in the thumb up at the top toolbar, and then in the bottom, and this is in the thumbnail view. In the bottom, there's a pop-up window that you can click at the bottom. I'll show you a bigger screen in a minute so that it makes more sense. But it's both in the library module, because the library module is just that. Imagine yourself in a library and you're looking through all the books trying to find one. And that's why they named the library module in Lightroom the library module, because that's the library you're going into to look through all the pictures. And this is kind of your card catalog, your Dewey Decimal System, if you will, of finding all your images. And it gives you a lot of different ways that you can mix and match the way you select your images. And then now we've got even more. And so now you can filter your photos you can say, show me all the pictures in a stack. And so the way I would use that is, in the past, whenever I shoot panorama shots, I'd always put the images in a stack, all the pieces of the panorama shot, I'd put them in a stack. And so now if I'm going back and looking for a particular panorama I want to look at again or redo, I can just go into a folder and say, show me all the pictures that are, I can go in my Smoky Mountains folder and say, show me all the pictures that are in a stack, and it'll show me all the images I have in a stack. And then I can go back and be able to find it like that. Previously exported, that's a big one too. I've used a lot. The previously exported, if you've worked on an image and you think it's good and you've exported it out to get a print made or put it in a presentation or do something else, it keeps a log of that and it knows all the pictures you've exported. So you can go back, and if you've got 5 pictures you're looking at and you're trying to decide for the best one, you can't remember the one you used the last time, you can say, okay, but the 5 pictures I'm looking at of this deer, show me the one I exported, and it'll show you that one you exported. File types, that's always been in there. Dimensions has always been in there, but it's a good way to search. Aspect ratio, do it all the time. Typical way I use the aspect ratio, for example, is a lot of people will, the magazines I work with, they'll say we're looking for some cover contenders, and so I can go and select portrait mode. Just show me the pictures of this bobcat that are in portrait mode. And it helps me kind of sort it that way. And there's all kinds of other items that you can sort through there. And so if you look, this is kind of full screen. Again, you look at it in the thumbnail view like we're looking at here. And then in the upper right are some of the new ones. They've got now that pictures that you put comments in the back end of, or pictures that have been exported, not exported, pictures that have been edited, not edited. You can sort by the editing time, the editing amount. There's all kinds of different ways you can sort your images, and you can mix and match all of them. So The best thing to do is if you've never used this before, trying to find an image, get in there and play with it and start developing your own sort of workflow on how you can find your images. Yeah, if you notice there, all these tools are kind of replicated. They're at the top and they're at the bottom. You can find them in a lot of different places, and it works really, really, really well. If you like what you watched and heard today, be sure to like and subscribe our videos. It really does help us out a lot. And if you want your set of free nature photography cheat sheets, head on over to hackberryfarm.com, put in your email address, and those cheat sheets will be delivered directly to your inbox. Thanks a lot.